Hello and welcome. In this video, I will show you how to create a stack and bottom navigation bar widgets. First, we will enter this container that contains the image of the product inside a stack widget. We are creating a favorite icon on the top right corner. We use a stack widget to layer the image and the icon on top of each other. The first child of the stack is the product image, which we assume is already defined as a container widget. The second child of the stack is the positioned widget, which allows us to place the icon at a specific location relative to the stack. We set the right and top properties to 20 pixels, which means the icon will be 20 pixels away from the right and top edges of the stack. In child we create container widget. We add some padding around the icon to create some space between the icon and the background. We decorate the container with a black circle shape. The child of the container widget is a SVG picture widget, which will display the icon as a vector graphic. We use a SVG picture widget instead of an image widget because SVG files are scalable and can adapt to different screen sizes and resolutions. We specify the asset name of the icon, which is stored in the Assets Icons folder. We set the height of the icon to 20 pixels, which will scale the icon proportionally. We set the color of the icon to white, which will contrast with the black background. Next, we are creating a widget that displays a bottom navigation bar with 4 tabs: Home, Cart, Notification, and Profile. To use Google Navigation Bar in Flutter, we need to add the package to our pubspec YAML file, like this. First, we use a container widget to wrap the navigation bar and customize its appearance and padding. We set the horizontal padding to 30 pixels and the vertical padding to 20 pixels to create some space around the navigation bar. We decorate the container with a white color. A rounded border on the top left and top right corners, and a box shadow to create some depth effect. The child of the container is a gnav widget, which is a custom widget that provides a flexible and easy way to create a bottom navigation bar with animations and transitions. We set the tab border radius to 33 pixels, which will create a circular shape for the tabs. We set the curve to ease out expo, which will create a smooth and fast animation for the tabs. We set the duration to 900 milliseconds, which will control how long the animation lasts. We set the gap to 5 pixels, which will create some space between the icon and the text of each tab. We set the color to gray 800, which will be the color of the unselected icons and texts. We set the active color to black, which will be the color of the selected icon and text. We set the tab background color to gray with 0.1 opacity, which will create a subtle highlight for the selected tab. We set the padding to 10 pixels on the right, which will create some space between the tabs and the right edge of the screen. We use a variable to keep track of the selected index, which is a variable that stores the current index of the navigation bar. We can change the value of selected index by using setState whenever we want to switch tabs. We set the onTab change property to a function that takes an index as a parameter and updates the value of selected index to that index. This function will be called whenever the user taps on a tab, and it will trigger the animation and transition of the navigation bar. Next, we define the tabs as a list of G-button widgets, which are the custom buttons that make up the navigation bar. The first tab is the Home tab, which has an icon of a home and a text of home. We set the icon to icon data, 0, which means we are not using the default icon property of the G-button widget. We set the text to home, which will be displayed below the icon. We set the leading property to a container widget, which will contain the custom icon that we want to use. We add some padding around the icon to create some space between the icon and the tab background. We decorate the container with a circular shape and a color that depends on the selected index of the navigation bar. If the selected index is 0, which means the Home tab is selected, we use a black color, otherwise we use a white color. The child of the container is a SVG picture widget, which will display the icon as a vector graphic. We specify the asset name of the icon, which is stored in the Assets Icons folder. We set the color of the icon to white if the selected index is 0 or black otherwise. The second tab is the Cart tab, which has an icon of a cart and a text of cart. If the selected index is 1, which means the Cart tab is selected, we use a black color. Otherwise, we use a white color. The third tab is the Notification tab, which has an icon of a notification and a text of notification. If the selected index is 2, which means the Notification tab is selected. The fourth tab is the Profile tab, which has an icon of a user and a text of profile. If the selected index is 3, which means the Profile tab is selected. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and see you next time.